Today's episode of Outside the Rack is brought to you by Kinetic Performance, the makers of the Gymaware. In today's world of strength and conditioning, data collections become the utmost of importance, and that's exactly where Gymaware separates itself from the competition. Because when we're sitting there and looking to collect data, what data are you actually collecting? And are the numbers you're looking at fitting into the exercises that you're utilizing? And even more so, are they going to answer the questions that you're looking for? Looking at different ways that you are moving the barbell through peak and mean, both velocity and power, is really what separates Gymaware from the competition. Being able to understand what your ballistic exercises are doing separate to what your strength exercises are doing really allows you to program at a much more specific level for your athletes. So hop on over to kinetic.com.au to see what Evan and his team have in store for you today.
Hey guys, this is Jay here from Gymaware. Really hope you're enjoying Coach Mayor's podcast series so far. Here at Gymaware, we've just released our brand new VBT product, Flex. So I just want to give you a bit of insight into what it is and how it could help you as a coach or athlete. Flex uses brand new laser optic technology to measure barbell velocity, so like Gymaware, it's highly accurate. The device connects straight to your iPhone or iPad. We've had an independent validation study to confirm that Flex is highly accurate. We have loads of awesome features already, and our experienced development team continues to work on software updates each and every day. Key performance metrics are available, including both peak and mean velocity, peak and mean power, distance, bar position and bar path. If you guys want any more information on Flex, velocity-based training, just be sure to reach out, go to our website, check us out on socials as well. But for now, we hope you enjoy the rest of Coach DeMayo's podcast.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 86th episode of Outside the Rack, brought to you by Kinetic Performance, the makers of Gymaware. In this show, we're just going to try to dive a little deeper in the minds of the top practitioners in the world of sport performance to learn a little bit more about who they actually are and how they got to where they are today. Today, we are joined by the Director of Sport Performance for men's basketball at Virginia Commonwealth University, Dan Roose. Roose, thanks for being with us today, bro.
Thanks, Jay. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you're doing great, dude. I'm glad things are good. I'm excited to hear the banging and the clanging and them building the gym out back, because if anybody has seen the videos online, like, it's really fun to watch Dan and his son work out. But, before we get too far into this, brother, who is Dan Roose?
Yeah, number one on that one, I absolutely refuse to refer to myself in the third person, so I'm not going to on that one. I have the best job in the country. I know that's arguable for a lot of people and things like that. But I do feel like I have a little room to say that, because I've been here at VCU, I left, and then I came back because of what I have here. So getting to show up every day at a place that I really enjoy to work is terrific. I got one of the best bosses in the country. I have the best boss in the country, Mike Rhodes. He's unbelievable human being, first and foremost. And he, really, really not only allows, you to be yourself and to do what you do, but encourages it. And so that makes it, a lot of fun. The other thing he allows and encourages is spending a lot of time with your family. And so that's a big thing for me too, that I'm sure we'll talk about a little later.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, and I think that all too often, one thing that if I can give the league a plug, you see people that go bigger and then, they kind of get a dose of the bright lights and all of that. And that's what they kind of need. But there's two coaches in the A10 right now who have come back. You came back after Texas, and Casey came back after, I think it was Miami, right?
Correct. Yeah, we've talked a good bit about that. A lot of similar situations.
Yeah, and it's, I say this all the time, but like, people sleep on the A10, and not just for basketball, but it's like a really cool coaching community.
Absolutely. Can't say that enough. The the guys and ladies in this league, that we were able to work with and see, at games and stuff, and hopefully see a little bit more when we can do some in-person things like that. It is a really cool vibe. I really enjoy getting to know some of the new ones, and then some of the ones that have been around a little bit. It's good to catch up with.
No doubt, man. No doubt. But listen, it's a guy who has really worked your way all the way up and found a great spot for you and a place that you really like to call home. I'm excited to hear the first question here. And that is, if you wouldn't mind, describe a learning situation that brought about an epiphany in your career.
This one's easy. This one's easy for me. And like I told you, this is one of my favorite podcasts. I love the length of it, and it fits in well with my commute. And I also love not talking about X's and O's, not hearing about them all the time, and sets and reps and things like that. So I really, really love this question. Excuse me. Mine happens, let's see, 2006-ish, 2007. Really stands out to me. And I'd been a graduate assistant at Marshall University for John Sanderson at Michigan, learned a great deal from him. Then I took over for him there at Marshall when he left for Clemson. And I went from being a GA to being the, director of Olympic sports there at the University of Marshall. And while that was great and all looks good on the resume, in many people's eyes there, I was still going to be a GA, no matter what happened. And that's just the way it was going to be. And that's fine. I'm 25, 26 years old. It doesn't matter, And so after a year and a half there, I took the head job at UNC Pembroke in North Carolina, Division II school. They were just starting football. And it was near both sets of grandparents. My wife and I just had our first child. And, so I went down there, and on the interview, I said, man, if they got nice facilities, then I'll take the job. And it went down there. The facilities were fantastic. They just built a new weight room. They were going to allow me to build another one, for Olympic sports and things like this. And I thought this could be a lot of fun. And, so, I took the job, and, it didn't take many workouts there. And I realized that those people there looked at me as an expert for the first time. Now, was I an expert? Not a chance. No way, didn't have a clue. But to those teams, to those sport coaches and things there, what I said carried weight versus when I had come from being a GA, to a full-time strength coach. And so what that did was that really allowed me to build and hone my coaching voice and my chops. I had 16 sports the first year by myself. And while challenging, time-wise, it was terrific because I got so many reps coaching. And at the same time, at the Division II level, I was teaching a class. I was teaching 2 sections of kinesiology. And when I took the job, that was just kind of part of the job. But it really ended up being what a great 2-year learning experience of teaching kinesiology and coaching 16 sports and really learning how to use my voice and all the little things that go with that, tone, inflection, things like that, because we sit here and look at each other, and we've been doing this a long time. And there's so many people out here that are so much smarter than me in every aspect of strength and conditioning. But what I know how to do is I know how to coach people. And little things like how you control the room and your personality and stuff, goes into that, so like we're trying to hire an intern right now, and I really don't care what certifications they have, what all this kind of stuff. Do they have a personality? Because if you can't coach your way out of a paper bag, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, man. These kids aren't going to listen to you, So that epiphany really stands out to me, is that 2 years there and really figuring out who I was as a coach and how I didn't have to look like this certain strength coach, or I didn't have to sound like this one, or I didn't have to program like this one, or whatever it was. I got to get these kids to do what I want them to do, and me figuring that out was huge. And, they were really bought into it too. So that sure helped my ego there.
I think that that's one that there's usually a moment, especially with us older heads, which is really kind of painful to say that that's where we are now, bro. But like where we were like, wow, like it takes a bit to be able to step back and really understand what that means, is like how to do those things, because all too often for the longest time it was just like do what the person says because they're the coach. And as time has evolved, that's been a completely new skill set that's been required.
Absolutely. 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 Kids, I found myself over the past few years really explaining what we're doing a lot more than I used to. And even to some kids who I wouldn't think would be interested in the why. It goes back to teaching kinesiology, and the whys of human movement, and how to get these kids to understand those things and myself to understand those things. Why are we doing this movement? Why are we not doing this movement that we saw on Instagram last week? Things like that.
Yeah, that one with the Instagram is the big one, where there are some buttes out there, but that's another talk for another day. But I also too want to point out something, because it's a common rift, let's say, in strength coach Twitter. You coached 16 teams and taught 2 undergrad classes. That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking back, it was, but it wasn't. But it wasn't at the time, because that was just my schedule, and that's what I did. We had some early morning teams. We had 2 classes, 2 sections. Squeeze in a little lunch, maybe a personal workout, maybe not, just depending on what happens. Have my afternoon teams. You know what? Go home on the weekends. That was the beauty of Division II. I didn't sit in on any team meetings. I didn't have academic meetings, things like that. It was let's train these kids and see what happens. And it was a lot of fun. And at the end of the day, like, that's really what I'm trying to do in life, is have fun. I don't know anything else. So that was a blast. Was it hard transitioning to one sport from there primarily, which is what I did? Very challenging, and I've told this to a lot of people before. The hardest part was, like, if I have a bad day with my group right now, then I might not get to see them till tomorrow or the next day for another session. And whereas then with 16 teams, like, I might have a bad group, bad session for whatever reason it may be. The next group I've got, they're ready to roll, and it turns out to be a great day because of it. So that's the challenges of having one sport versus having multiple sports. And a lot of us have done those kind of things, throughout time, and have had each of those experiences, and you take from them, always taken from them.
No doubt, man. I think that it's a blessing and a curse in a way, right? Because like those days are long, and with those long days, you have those kind of ebbs and flows when it comes to that. But I think that what's always been the best part of a lot of those of us who have been in the game for a while, like career, we always come back to that. Yeah, I was working from 5:30 or 6 in the morning till 6 or 7 at night, but it was
Great.
awesome. And it was just coaching, and you learned so much during that. And I think that like the evolution of our area of sport has been great, and seeing things grow has been great, where people can have a more laser focus with teams. But I almost worry that like this next round of coaches is missing out.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I've got a graduate assistant right now, Paul Coyer, does a fantastic job for me. He's going to be a fantastic basketball strength coach, but because that's the only experience he has right now. And in normal times, like, I would send him over to Coach Contos's weight room, be around some different teams and things like that. But that was even, impossible this year, with the situation going on around the world. So that's where we are. And so what I did was I had him coach our staff. They were his team. I turned our staff into his team. And that's who he had to coach. And so that's what we did.
That's awesome. But that's great. I mean, they got to do something.
Yeah, that's it.
But, moving on to number two, Roos, I'm excited for this because, as a guy who's been in the league, in the game for a while, and someone who's been at all the levels, being an inquisitive person is something that has to be part of what you do, especially as things evolved with the playing style that you guys had, and then how that had to change a bit when you guys moved, and now coming back and really kind of meeting it in the middle. There's been a lot of digging and things of that nature. So if Roos knew he'd get the answer to one question, what would that question be and
I
why?
used to have a different answer for this one, but I'm going to go ahead and hit you with that one first. And anybody in basketball strength and conditioning will be able to relate to this. Probably some other sports too, but I think basketball maybe the most is I would ask my director of operations, "Hey, what's the schedule this week?" and get the answer. Now, I can't say that anymore because the current director of ops I have here, Jimmy Martelli, is phenomenal. The best I've ever worked with in the history of the world. He's so organized. But I always joke with my friends in football, like you guys, you got it so easy. You play on Saturdays, you lift on Sunday, you lift on Tuesday. Your non-travel guys lift Friday. Let's go. That's what we're gonna do this week. It's so regimented. It's so structured. And I know TV plays into that too, and different things like that. But man, we might play Monday, Wednesday, Saturday one week, and then have off and not play till the next Saturday. And who knows? And like head coaches are just notorious for like, let's do this today. Let's do this. That's not progression. That's not periodization. That doesn't work like in my world. So I just wanted to know what the schedule was going to be. Well, I cannot say it anymore. This is the most organized staff I've ever been a part of. I love this staff here. It's phenomenal. So we really communicate well, so my new answer to that is I like the unknown. I'm not fearful of the unknown. Let's just have some unknowns in the world and enjoy it and have fun with it.
There's about 350 some odd Division I basketball strength coaches that just shot their coffee out their nose listening to what's the schedule this week.
What's the
And
schedule
it's this week. What's the schedule tomorrow? Like, what are we doing tomorrow? I know what we're going to do today because it's 9 a.m. and I just found out. But what are we going to do tomorrow? Like, that's brilliant. That's hilarious. Oh, and I wish it wasn't so true. But like with football too, it's like they don't just know the week.
Yeah.
Like our football staff, like they have camp through the playoffs scheduled already through like next season. And I'm just like, don't you guys have like 3 games left in the spring? Like, they're like, oh yeah, but we know what we're going to do.
They do. They're talking macro cycles and all this kind of stuff. We're just trying to figure out what we're going to do tomorrow. Like,
yeah, I just want to know what time you need me here. What time? When do I need to be here tomorrow? I'll just be here at 8 just in case.
Oh, it's too good.
Oh, it's funny because it's true. Well, listen, man, with all the craziness that we've been going through, finding a time to recharge is important. So other than laughing about our schedules, what's Roos's escape?
I mean, this one's easy, and this is going to sound like everybody else's too. Like, what do I do to get away? I like to work out. It's fun. It's a good time. And that has transformed over the years from the physical benefits and the aesthetics of looking in the mirror to the mental health side of things. Ryan Horn and I are actually training for a half Ironman here in June. We've been training for it for 2 years because it got put off last year. So we've had fun with that. I'm ready for a change here coming up because it's been 2 years of that. So I feel a little bit sagittal right now from that kind of training. I'm an aerobic machine though. And the other thing is I like to watch my kids play sports. Lucky enough to have 2 kids that enjoy sports. you know. But more than that, I like the preparation and the process of it, and watching them figure things out is the most fun to me. And that goes for my kids, you know, at VCU as well. I've always enjoyed the preparation for competition more so than the competition itself. Not that I don't like to compete, don't get me wrong, it's fun to win, but the preparation, you know, and watching my kids figure those things out as they go through athletics has been a blast to me. And letting them figure it out is also part of the fun of that, and part of my release and part of my escape and getaway is going out to those games and just watching their teammates and friends figure those things out. That's just a blast to me. So that's it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And I think that the fact that you guys are training for something for over 2 years, it's a credit to you guys, because like, dude, I don't think I've stuck with a TV show for 2 years. Like, I don't know.
It should have been over last June. It should have been, but you know, due to the pandemic, it got put off a year. And to be honest, I was not ready for the run portion of it last year. Much better, much more ready this year for that. So we'll keep you updated on how that goes in June.
Awesome, man. I can't wait to see it. Well, Roose, man, it's great to see you. I'm glad you're doing awesome, brother, and I truly appreciate your time, man.
Thanks, Jay. I appreciate it.
Yeah, brother. We'll be in touch soon, buddy. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Cheers.